Good evening, everybody. It's Sunday at 7. This is the Conservative Corner, and as you can see at the bottom left-hand side of the screen, I am Seth Eisenberg, or at least I'm wearing his clothes, so let's hope it is me. Um, a lot happened in the last 48 hours? I mean, a lot. So what we'll do is we'll get right into it with the breaking news. First thing I want to talk about is the IDF has found the bodies of three more Israeli hostages in the Gaza Strip, where there's peaceful people over there that are just trying to live their lives and not bother anybody else. They found three more people that were taken hostage and then either killed or died while in captivity. I don't want to say their names because I'm going to butcher them, and they deserve a lot better than that. But you can see it was two civilians and a sergeant. I can't imagine the hell they went through with those subhuman savages that everybody seems to think are the victims. I don't. I'll never understand that. Taking hostages is just barbaric, especially when they're not even military. I mean, kind of makes sense when you're doing military, but you're taking civilians and then they die in your under your watch, and it's supposed to be okay. The rest of the world is okay with that because Israel's a colonizer and they're taking land and blah blah blah. How many prisoners has Israel taken and killed? How many times has Israel actually attacked and truly tried to hit civilian people? I mean, really targeted like hospitals or schools or housing. They don't. These sub animals that kill these three innocent people do. And we can't forget that the people, Hamas are animals and they should be exterminated like animals. They serve no purpose other than to destroy, kill, maim, and whatever else it is they're doing under the guise of freedom fighters. So sick of hearing people defend those monsters. Makes me want to vomit. I mean, I wonder what these people would do if the ones that support, Hamas and all them, if it was their family members who were kidnapped and held hostage and died. I wonder if they'd still be singing the same song about how they're just trying to live their lives and it's Israel's fault. I would like to hear what they would say if it were people they know or people in their family that died in their in Hamas's captivity. Then again, those people are crazy as shit. Probably wouldn't care. They would still figure out a way to blame the death of people they know on Israel. It would, why even waste your time? Why even try to figure those people out? So yeah, those three people died. My heart goes out to their families, and all I can say to them, and I'm sure it's not any comfort, but Hamas has been crippled. They're a non-entity now, and hopefully Israel will continue the campaign and kill whatever's left of Hamas. I mean, I'm sure that doesn't make their families feel any better, but at least knowing that they're going to be dead and not be able to hurt anybody else might comfort them a little bit. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. Moving on, because I don't want to dwell on that. I don't know if you know, but last night, America dropped a lot of payload on Iran, on their three nuclear facilities, the three of them. According to the American damage assessment, they've destroyed them all, or just so badly damaged they're useless and not a concern for us anymore. As you can see, and I'll read it. Donald Trump said, "We have completed our very successful attack on three nuclear sites in Iran." Excuse me, I get burp. Including Fordow, Natzan, and Efsan. I'm sorry if I don't speak that language. All planes are now outside of their Iran airspace. A full payload of bombs was dropped on the primary site, Fordow. All planes are safely on their way home. Congratulations to our great American warriors. There is not another military in the world that could have done this. Now is the time for peace. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And if you lived in Iran, this will look very familiar to you. No, it's not the sunrise. That's America telling you to stand down. again, there are people out there saying we had no right to do that. Iran's a peaceful nation, blah, 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 blah. These are the same people that are defending illegal aliens and are defending Hamas or saying that, Iran has every right to nuclear power, completely ignoring their human rights violations forever. I don't know if anybody remembers, but back in the 40s, before the religious zealots took over, Iran was a pretty modernized country. I mean, it was completely different from what it is now. Um, Women had standing; they could work, go to school, have jobs, things like that. Now it's pretty much back in the dark ages, and it's a hellhole. Um, Complete hellhole. I think Elon Musk has given them free access to the internet with Starlink, so they're starting to see just how backward their country is. Some of those people. Hopefully, this will spark a revolution, and those people will get pushed out of power, and they can get back to where they were, 80 years ago, and enjoy life like humans should, and not live under the oppression of religious zealots who can justify everything they do by simply saying, "Well, our God wills it." So yeah, they took a beating, and the thing is, like everybody else, we targeted their facilities. We didn't target population centers. We didn't target anything else. The targets were these nuclear facilities, and that's what we hit. And of course, Iran's come out and said, "Oh, there was nothing there; they were empty." Blah blah blah. And now we're gonna come back in America with a vengeance that they've never seen before. The same BS they always say when something happens to them, and nothing ever comes of it. I'm not saying ignore it because they are, like I said, they're religious zealots, and they are the world's, if not the one of the world's biggest financiers of terrorism. So we just can't take what they say lightly and brush it off. We need to be aware and prepared. I think more overseas. I don't really think there's much they can do to us here. Knock on wood. That was me knocking on wood. Overseas, I think there's going to be more issues. I think there's more of a chance of Iran and their proxies doing stuff to American bases and countries over there than really over here. That doesn't mean we get to go yay and party on. It means we can go yay and party on, but we need to be aware. Like I've said before, we need to be situationally aware when we go out in public. Just know what's going on around you. When you go into a place, know where the exits are. Things like that, because you never know. Stranger things have happened, and I don't want anybody getting hurt because they weren't prepared. I'm not saying walk around being paranoid and, locking yourself in a safe room and stuff like that. I'm saying live your life. Just be aware. Just be aware. Like I said, I don't want to hear about anybody that watches this show. I don't care if you're a Democrat or a liberal. I don't want to hear about anybody getting hurt because of this. Just be aware of what's going on around you and communicate with your neighbors and friends and make sure they're aware. Like I said, the best way to fight anything, terrorism or an oppressive government, is working within your community and building a strong community. So make sure you know your neighbors are okay. Like, not even just because of this, just check on your neighbors. I mean, you might have elderly neighbors that are panicking over this, like that are really afraid. You should talk to them and get to know them and let them know, hey, this is crappy and it's kind of a scary time, but don't change your life. Just be aware. My son has asked me several times if we're going to go to war. Are they going to nuke us or anything like that? And I've told him not to worry about that, that he's a child, that he's a kid, and he should enjoy life. Let the parents worry about this. So you might have your children ask questions about this, that they might be frightened, because everybody knows the internet will give you all the information you need and information that you don't need. A lot of kids are on the internet and parents don't have time to watch, which I don't agree with. My son isn't allowed on Facebook. I don't give him a Facebook page, TikTok, or anything like that. And I think he has I can't remember what it is, but so he can talk to my daughter and his other relatives. But it's monitored. I watch it. His mom keeps an eye on it. But even then, something leaks in. I mean, during this time, pay attention to kids. Really, they're very open and they don't comprehend things like an adult does. So everything in them is the end of the world. They see this and think, oh my God, we're going to get invaded. We're all going to die. Just keep an eye on your kids. I mean, I had a long talk with my son and explained that to him, and I think he's okay, but that communication's still open. I talk to him every day. So just be aware your children might hear about this or something. So just keep that in mind. And I don't want to beat that like a dead horse. Anybody who's watched my show here on the other crap or on Facebook knows I'm a big advocate for children, and I want them to be protected, not shielded. They can't be shielded from reality, but they need to be protected. You need to filter what they get and how much they get based on their age. So just make sure that your children are aware that everything's okay and there's nothing to be panicked about. And if there's something that's going to happen or they need to know about, that you as their parent will let them know. And unless it comes from you, it's okay. Be a kid. Enjoy being a kid. Let us worry about this crap. You enjoy your summer, hanging out with your friends and going to the pool. Seriously, watch the kids. That's my biggest concern. So that's your breaking news. Again, I just want to bring this up. Keep their families in your prayer. There are more hostages that are out there, and I have a horrible feeling that very few of them are still alive. I think they've either were killed previous to being captured, died in captivity, or were killed in captivity. It's sad. There's no excuse for it. The world should be appalled and disgusted by this, but there's a segment of the society that thinks this is acceptable because they're Jewish. And there will always be that part of society that sees no problem with harming Jews or harming anybody that they don't agree with. And this is the outcome. All I can say is I hope Israel does not stop and they hunt down and exterminate every last member of Hamas. And the world will be a little bit safer, just like it's a little bit safer now because of this. I feel better now knowing Iran won't get a nuclear weapon anytime soon now. If this is an indication of the damage caused to the nuclear facilities, if they could build fireworks at this point in Iran, I would be shocked. So that makes me feel a little bit better, knowing that those insane sons of bitches don't have a bomb or don't have the capability of making a bomb. Now, we don't know if they already have one, and I'll get into that in a little bit, but they can, if they do, they can make no more, and that makes me happy. So moving on to the show. That was the breaking news. And like I said, some of it is very horrible. Some of it, while I don't want to use the word should make you happy, it's, and I don't want to say good news, but it's news that should help everybody feel a little bit better about the world situation now. So what I want to get into now is just the complete and utter ridiculousness that's been going on with politicians since the Los Angeles riots started. When you elect an official in America, we elect them based on the assumption that they're going to do what's best for the country and the country's citizens. People don't run a campaign saying, hey, I'm going to be concerned about people who are here illegally. Make sure they get your tax dollars and help other countries, and I'm going to piss all over America. No one runs on that, because if they did, hopefully, they would get no votes and not get elected. I don't know if you heard about this moron. Padilla was at a press conference, kind of rushed the podium, wasn't announcing himself, no one was there, so he was quickly taken in by FBI, put on the ground, and then arrested. Then he, stood up in front of DC and all his fellow employees and wept like a prepubescent girl who had just got grounded and is no longer allowed to use the phone. It was embarrassing. I have never seen a man act like that in mine, and I use the term man loosely with him. I have never seen a man act like that in my entire life. And I'm 53 years old. He literally wept and cried and described how frightening it was that when he was arrested, they put him on his knees and put him down on his chest and held his hands behind his back and handcuffed him. And he was scared and he was just frightened. Look at the man. What did he think was going to happen when you rush the stage where another politician is speaking and you don't even announce that you're going to be there? If I rushed that, if I did that, the same thing would happen to me. The Democrats are so fond of saying no one's above the law. If you break the law, you're going to be treated like everybody else. You're going to get arrested or whatever. But as soon as it happens to them, it's wrong. It's not how things should be. He should be allowed to act like a fool and interrupt press conferences and show his ass and defend illegal immigrants, aliens, and condemn ICE and law enforcement officers who are arresting them because he's a liberal and he knows better than all of us. He's a better human being than we are. We should aspire to be as kind and gentle as he is at some point in our lives, because he is the bar that we all should set when it comes to being a human being. That's what they honestly think. All liberals think that they're better than us. And when something happens that doesn't match up with that, like being arrested for showing your ass in public, then it's everybody else's fault. He assumes no responsibility for what happened, none whatsoever. It wasn't his fault at all. It's everybody else's fault. And then he stands up in front of other people and cry. I'm not talking about whining and crying. I'm talking about weeping, like tears. I think there was even a little snot, and I think he was shaking a little bit when he was talking. I would, like I said, I was embarrassed for the man to act like that in public. And the sad thing is, that's what passes for a liberal man. That. Look right at it. I don't understand it. How that. I really don't know what to say. I mean, my 15-year-old son is more of a man than this jerk. I mean, truly, he is. My son is more of a man. My son will admit when he messes up. Doesn't blame other people for his crap. He assumes his responsibility and moves on. And I agree with Damon Galdo. When did we stop making men in this country? What happened? And I think it is, and I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but if you watch this, you know that I do that all the time. I think what happened is parents stopped trying to be parents, stopped telling their kids no, and wanted to be friends. And this is what you get. This Padilla guy, this weeping, crying, sniveling, Harvey Milquetoast, spineless jellyfish is the result of raising a son and not teaching him how to be a man. And by that, I mean, you let him do whatever he wants. You coddle him. You're his friend. You don't hold him accountable. You give him participation trophy for just getting up in the morning. That's not how you raise a man. And this is the result. That's what you get. This coward, this actor, this wind tunnel tested hairdo, manicure, pedicure, metrosexual, crybaby, and excuse my language, piece of shit. That's what you get when you raise a child, any child, with no accountability. He blames everybody else. So I don't know if you've seen the video. I wanted to put it up, but I thought, no, I don't want to give this idiot any more airtime than he's already got. This is mid-cry. I'm embarrassed for him. I mean, I really, I'm sitting here right now and I'm like, oh my God, I feel so embarrassed for him because he doesn't have the sack to understand how unmanly he is at this point. He really doesn't. And that's what embarrasses me. I think last Wednesday on the Pulse, I don't know if you'll watch it, it's Wednesdays at 8. And it's with me, Alexandra Levin, Damon Galdo, Tim Fazenbaker, Elena Barbera. We all get together and talk about different things. I think the topic came up Wednesday about men. We talked about liberal men are, always the ones pounding their chest, talking about how bad they are and what they're going to do. And they're going to kick so-and-so's ass, or what did Biden say? Take him out back and punch him, or some stupid shit like that. They got to make themselves feel important because deep down inside they know they're not. And I said that, when it comes to people being tough and bad and men, I've been a lot of tough guys, like legitimate tough guys. And I said the one thing they all have in common is they don't have to tell you they're a tough guy. A real man doesn't have to tell you how manly he is. He doesn't have to talk about what he's done or anything. You just know, being around that person, that's a real man. I'm sure when you're around Padilla, you probably smell lavender and he's got like a dead fish handshake. And you just know before he even opens his mouth that that's not a man. I mean, he may have a penis, questionable. He may have a penis, but that's the only thing he has that makes him anywhere in the same family as a man, is his genitalia. So yeah, if you're raising a son, if you're raising a daughter, if you're raising children, period, please, unless you want your son or daughter to grow up to be this, a crying, sniveling worm who blames everybody else for his mistakes. Take the time to teach your children accountability. Take the time to teach your children empathy and compassion. Teach them how to be assertive, not obnoxious, and not aggressive. There's a big difference. Teach them to be assertive. Teach them to be intelligent. And the first sign of intelligence is realizing you don't know everything. That everybody has something to teach you. Teach them that. Teach them to be intelligent. Teach them to be kind. Don't teach them to be a sniveling coward. Don't teach them to blame everybody else around them for their problems. Accountability. If you can just teach your kid one thing, teach them accountability. That would be perfect. If everybody taught their children accountability, that would be awesome. I think this world would be a much better place, and we would all be better off. I think if we could just teach accountability. I really, really do. Moving on to more just nitwits. I mean, nitwits. Democrat Representatives Jonathan Jackson and Raji Kiss My Ass Some More just were filmed trying to enter an ICE building in Chicago. And the officer literally says, no, and shuts the window in their face and leaves. I don't know if you've seen the video, but he shuts the window and these guys keep talking to their reflections. It's classic. I laughed. I think I watched it like 20 times. And I laughed the entire time I was watching. I've never seen two bigger dickheads in my entire life than these two morons, Jonathan Jackson and Raji, let me kiss your ass some more. The epitome of twats. And I'm sorry if you're a woman watching this, I apologize. They're twat waffles, the both of them. They probably smell like lavender, patchouli, and like despair or depression. But they kept talking to their reflections. Like they actually think the guy just like closed the window and then stood there with his ear to it to hear what they said. I'm sure that dude closed the window and walked away. They were literally talking to their reflections. Oh, well, we need to see a badge. Why? We need to talk to a supervisor. We need to get in there. We have, we're representatives. You can't. They kept talking for like a minute past it. And I think at one point somebody filmed was like, hey, dude, nobody's there anymore. Who in the fuck are you talking to? I mean, it was sad. I mean, if I actually had any respect for both these guys, I'd feel bad for them, but I laughed so hard. The officer says, nope, shuts the door, and you would think, you wouldn't think, any normal human being at that point would go, hey, we tried, let's get out of here. Nope. These two jerk-offs kept talking to their reflections in the window. Like that was going to change anything. Like, oh, if we keep talking, maybe they'll come back out and let us in. These are probably the two guys, the kind of guys that when they touch themselves, look at themselves in the mirror at the same time. That's how important they think they are. And they were probably completely shocked when this guy they probably thought was beneath them because he's just a cop and I'm a representative. This guy's a nothing, a blue collar working stiff. Shut the window and walked away. They didn't know what to do. They had no idea. They were like, we need to see a badge. Kudos to that ICE guy, the agent, ICE agent. If I knew he was, I'd buy the man a beer. I think that was awesome, and not because he was disrespectful, but because he treated them like they were his employees, and that's what these people are. These politicians are our employees, and that's what he did. He said, "No, that's the end of the conversation. I don't owe you an explanation. I don't need to tell you why I'm not letting you in. I don't need to tell you why I'm not answering your questions. You're a representative that has been elected. You're an elected official, and you work for me." I said, no, have a good day, and walked away. That is awesome. That is awesome. And I applaud that, man. I applaud anybody that treats these politicians like public servants because that's what they are. They're elected to that position. They voluntarily go into that position, and then they expect to be treated like rock stars. Well, you're not. You're a goddamn politician. I could train a monkey to do your job. Don't let it get to your head. So kudos to that officer. That is kudos to him. If anybody knows that man's name, please let me know. I think, like I said, I want to buy the guy beer or milk or whatever he drinks. If he lived close by, I would love to do that. That's just awesome. The pictures alone, what I'm going to show you next, will make you laugh. And if it doesn't, you're probably in a deep, deep depression, and we need to get you some medical help. The mayoral candidate Brad Lander arrested by ICE. I there were 3 more pictures, but I was like, you know what? If you can't glean what I'm trying to say from these pictures, 3 more aren't going to help you. He was at a courthouse. I think he camped out there waiting for this type of case to come out. And as soon as it happened, he literally grabbed the arm of an ICE agent and was demanding to know what was going on as they were arresting illegal immigrants. Like, do you have a warrant? Blah, 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 blah. And this is the scene of events. I like the second picture on the right-hand side where he's like he's passing out, like they're hurting him. I think that's great. And the big one on the left side, the bigger one, where the guy's like got him like this, and those are classic. I mean, these people are assholes. They are. Even at this point, I don't applaud them for standing up for what they believe in. This is all kabuki theater. It's all smoke and mirrors. He doesn't believe in anything he's doing. He knows it will get him votes. He knows it will appeal to the lowest common denominator, and they will vote for him. That's why he's doing this. I don't know why these politicians think they can do what they. No, I do know why. Because we no longer hold them accountable. Like I just said, we treat them like rock stars. They can do and say whatever, and this goes for both sides. We let them do and say whatever they want to say. And then we're like, yay, if it's on our side, we're happy for them. But if the other side does the same thing that we applauded, then it's wrong. I think in some countries, politicians are actually looked down on. Like, you're not that important, man. You're like, the dog catcher is more important than you because they actually do something to help people in the community. You don't. So, yeah, this douchebag was thinking he was going to just change the world and assaulted a federal officer and then just can't understand why he was arrested. He doesn't understand. None of them understand that, hey, why am I arrested? What do you mean I can't like grab a hold of a police officer or federal law enforcement officer and like shake him around and demand he talk to me? I don't understand why they think that's cool or allowed. We need to start holding these guys accountable. That's it. That's at the end of the day, we need to hold them accountable. They work for us. We can't do this. Why should they be able to? And the thing is, this guy will go to court and nothing will happen to him. Nothing. If it even goes to court, if the district attorney decides to prosecute it. Same thing with the other morons that do crap like this. Nothing ever happens to them. They don't do any jail time. They don't even have to do community service. They don't even get a fine. I want one of you who watches this show to go out there and grab a hold of a police officer and demand he talk to you. And you let me know what happens to you. I'm willing to bet you won't be able to tell me what happens to you because you'll be in jail for at least 90 days, or you're going to get hit with a fine and you won't be able to afford the internet anymore. But they're allowed to do it. That's why they do it. That's why they do this bull crap, because they know if they get arrested, they're going to be out in like 2 hours and nothing is going to come of it. Nothing. And that's got to stop too. If this doesn't anger you, then like I've said before, you're not paying attention. This should upset you beyond words that these people can do this and then 2 hours later they're home and nothing ever comes of it. That should anger you because we can't do that. All right, let's take a quick break, pay the bills, and I'll come back and you can hear me vent and rant some more. That's always fun.
Welcome to America's Pulse Network. This is APN's very own White House correspondent, Alexandra Levine.
This is so amazing and miraculous. We've never had a president in the history of our nation doing this. And we hope to God that he continues doing this forever and ever. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. And God bless President Trump.
And God bless you.
Hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine with the America's Pulse Network. I am the White House correspondent right here in the heart of D.C. as President Trump is celebrating 250 years of America and the military.
Subscribe and follow America's Pulse Network on the above social medias.
So yeah, it's Alexandra Levine. She's the White House correspondent for America's Pulse Network. does some really cool stuff. Gets to go to D.C. I mean, I don't know about being in D.C. is cool around all those people. I'm sure she feels dirty when she leaves there and probably has to take a shower. But she gets to go there and hear some things and meet some interesting people, which is very cool. And I think we're one of the few podcasts that actually has a White House correspondent. So that's very cool. She's on, and I'll get into it when everybody's show is. She's on and has some pretty cool shows. I've been on her show a couple times. She's a cool chick. She's a fellow tribesman. So she's got that going for her. So now I wanted to talk about, and I've called this segment Toilet Water, simply because of the person we're going to talk about, and that's what she is. I mean, she's toilet water. Maxine Waters. She looks like her face. You ever seen Raiders of the Lost Ark where the one guy's face melts off when they open the ark? She's like 2 seconds into the face melting is what it looks like. Like it's just started to slide off the dude's skull. That's what she reminds me of. And this fucking genius wants to grant every undocumented protester of Los Angeles. She wants to grant them citizenship. That's her answer to illegal aliens, breaking the law, rioting, burning the city, burning cars, assaulting police officers, destroying businesses. Her answer is, let's make them citizens. I can't think of a stupider person, literally. I can't think of anybody dumber at this moment in time. I'm sure if I think about it, I could, but right now, she is got to be the single stupidest human being on the face of the planet. And on top of that, she looks like a hemorrhoid. So she's got nothing going for her. Truly a miserable human being. Her answer is, hey, rather than hold people accountable, like I said earlier, let's just give them what they want, because that's just easier. It's easier to do that than it is to tell people no or hold people accountable. Why would we want to do that? Let's just give everybody everything they want, and we'll all hold hands, and unicorns will fart fairy dust on us, and life will be so much easier for us. I think that's what she actually thinks, if she thinks at all. I'm shocked that she can dress herself and get herself to work. Honestly, I think she's that stupid. I sometimes you got to just shake your head and go, what the hell? So these are some of the people that she wants to give citizenship to. As you can tell, they're hanging on the corner. I think they just left Sister Mary's orphanage for blind children. I think they were reading the Bible to them. And they're just discussing what they're going to do next week at the orphanage to help the children. I don't understand why we don't want them to be citizens of this country. I mean, they seem like very good people, really good people. Here's some more good citizens. I mean, at least he's got part of the American flag on the Mexican flag. So maybe he's, kind of like, maybe I should be kind of cool to the country that lets me stay here illegally, or that I've, leached off of for probably 12, 13 years. Again, the burning cars, not just one. Looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4 burning cars. Got their faces covered, waving foreign flags in America, demanding that they get what they want. And James Brown's stunt double wants to give them exactly what they want. Not hold them accountable for the damage they've caused or the people they've hurt or the businesses they've destroyed. She wants to give these people citizenship. That's her answer to the problem. That's like saying, if you rob a bank and we catch you, we'll let you keep the money. I mean, you seem like a good dude. You can keep the money. It's okay. We're not going to make you pay it back or anything. That's pretty much what she's saying in her own special head injury way. I mean, really, take a good look at this. Just look at that. That picture screams stupidity. To me, it's just like, I'm stupid and I don't know it, but I'm going to keep talking and pointing my finger and demanding things from people because I am Representative Maxine Toilet Waters. And I can do what I want to do because I keep getting elected by people stupider than me. And we're paying her. We are paying her to show her ass and be an ignorant, God, I don't know what to call her, but we're paying her. Our tax dollars pay her. If I ran a business and she was an employee, I'd have fired her years ago. Just fired her. But no, we have idiots that continually elect her back into office because they're just as stupid as she is. Because she's not as dumb as I say. She knows who to play to. She knows what to do to get the low informed voter to vote for her. She knows what to say and what to do. Scream racism or scream, government, fascism. Because there are people out there who were stupid enough in her district that believe her and will vote for her because they think she's going to save them. She's the one fighting the good fight. She's a humanitarian and just wants to help people. No, she doesn't want to help people. She wants to keep from drooling all over herself and get reelected. That's all she wants to do. And she wants to give criminals citizenship. She wants to give these people citizenship. No vetting, no process, just give it to them. On our dime. Again, this is all on our dime. We're paying for this, or will be paying for this if she does it. And don't forget, California's trying to pass a law to make it illegal for police officers to cover their face. Because that's really important. Their cities, Los Angeles is burning. They're overrun with illegal aliens. But the most important thing is making sure police officers can't cover their face. Because that's the real problem in LA. Once we stop letting them do that, everything else is going to be fine. It's all going to get better overnight once we do that. You can't make this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. You can't. If I can make stuff up like that, I would be in Hollywood writing screenplays. I would be winning Oscars and Academy Awards for incredible screenplays that I've written because no one would believe it. It'd be like a fantasy sci-fi movie if I could make up stuff like that. The sad thing is it's real. It's true. It's happening. You're paying for it. I'm paying for it. And they want to continue this. That's why, love him or hate him, you got to support Trump. He is trying to stand in that breach and keep that bullshit from hitting us. He's trying to, what's the word I'm looking for? He's trying to bring common sense back. I mean, common sense tells you you're here illegally, you're breaking the law currently, and now you're rioting and burning things. You don't get citizenship. Whatever ideas we had that we might have been able to work with and compromise on are gone. They're gone. You need to go immediately. And it's a good thing that was the Federal Appeals Court reversed the decision and said Trump can take control of the National Guard and send them into LA. That's awesome. Because Gavin No Scum News, whatever his goddamn name is, he's not going to do anything. He's like a used car salesman. He's just dirty. And then Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles, again, a do-nothing, incompetent fool. So common sense needs to prevail. The Marines and National Guard are there to just to force people to start thinking. Like, no, you can't burn this car. No, you can't assault that cop. No, you can't break into that building. That's another thing. Again, I'm going on a tangent. When did looting become resistance? When did breaking into an Apple store and stealing phones equate to fighting the man? Oh, they're going to deport these people. I think that's wrong. So maybe if I go steal a big screen TV and some iPhones and some iWatches, Apple Watches, that'll stop it. Let me go do that. I mean, am I wrong? Am I stupid? Is there a connection between theft and fighting the man and resistance? Is there something I've missed? I don't get it. I mean, they have videos of people like rushing in and stealing stuff. And I guarantee you, if you ask half the people in LA what they're rioting about, I mean, the rich white kids, they couldn't tell you. They couldn't answer the question. Oh, we're fighting the man. Well, what are you fighting for? Well, because he's wrong. Well, what's he wrong about? What he's doing? Well, what's he doing? The wrong stuff. I guarantee that's how that conversation would go. They couldn't answer because they don't know. They're like professional protesters now. They live to be offended and then go riot. That's all they do now. They wake up, have mom make them some hot chocolate and a bowl of Rice Krispies. They put on their little masks and they get their umbrellas because that's what they use now. And they get their little sticks and they all go meet up at the bus stop and they all talk about what they're going to do at the riot. And then they all go to the riot and then they get their asses kicked or shot with rubber bullets. And then they start crying about how they're being oppressed. And then they go back home to mom and have the juice box. And she rubs their head and tells them how special they are. And then they go to sleep. And they repeat the same bullshit the next day. I think that's generally how it goes for those people. They have no jobs. They have no lives. They have no ambition. They have no goals other than to share their misery with everybody in the world. When I was, I can't because I'm going to have like an aneurysm. I can feel it. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like a vein, like right here. I can feel it just duh. I ran into a friend of mine the other day, and I don't want to mention names because they may not want to be mentioned, but at a Walmart, and I told her, I do what I do now here as it's medicinal for me. All week I read and look and listen to this BS, and it builds up into me, and I can feel it just go. And then I come here on Sundays and talk with you guys, and I let it out, and then I feel better. So when I go back to work Monday and I start listening to things, I have like zero. And it just builds up slowly through the week. And then next Sunday, I'll be out here and let it all out. So I thank you all for helping me stay healthy. But yeah, she wants to let them all become citizens. And the sad thing is there are people in DC that will listen to that and will advocate for it. The same people that will advocate for that and support it are the same people that will step over a homeless vet living on the street, eating out of a trash can to go help an illegal immigrant. No care at all about the homeless vet. Won't give him a second thought. It's that illegal alien that we got to help. They deserve our attention and support. Let that sink in for a second. So I'm back. I want to talk about something else that kind of ties in with that. And I might lose some people on this. Some people might not agree with it. I don't know. Police officers in general, not just in LA. I'm talking about police officers everywhere. It's a tough job. I'm the son of a police officer, so I grew up with police officers. Some of my fondest memories of as a child are at cookouts with like 30 or 40 cops and their families just having a good time. Now, mind you, this was back in the day when cops could be cops. They weren't told they had to be social workers and babysitters and party planners and food delivery. They were police officers, law enforcement. Didn't care if you were right, didn't care if you were wrong. You violated the law. They weren't there to adjudicate. They were there to cite, arrest, and then pass it on to the attorneys and judges who would adjudicate and determine guilt or innocence. Nowadays, that's not the job. Like I said, you can watch any video. You can turn on YouTube and find videos of police officers playing basketball in uniform or having dance revolution parties or delivering pizzas or just hanging out and talking to their community to get to know them, because apparently that helps with community policing. Crime is higher now than it was 10 years ago. It's even higher than it was 20 years ago when police didn't do that, when police were police. They didn't care if you liked them or not. They didn't care about your feelings. They had a job to do and they did it. And if you followed the law, which is very easy to do because the laws in this country aren't so complicated, they're hard to understand. They're very simple. Keep your goddamn hands to yourself. If it's not yours, don't touch it. Obey the speed limit and don't lie to people. Pretty much if you follow that, you're never going to have to talk to a police officer in your entire life. So you never would have a bad interaction with a police officer as long as you follow those rules. And if you did break a law, as long as you didn't run your mouth like they do nowadays, 9 times out of 10, based on what they're interacting with you for, nothing's going to happen. I've been pulled over. I have a heavy foot. I've never been disrespectful to a police officer. Number one, because my father was a cop. And even though I'm a grown man now, and I'm still afraid of that man, I've always been respectful of the police. And I think the last 4 times I've been pulled over, I've gotten 1 ticket. And he wrote it down lower than it was because I was respectful. The other 3 times, simply saying yes, sir, no, sir, and not lying. Okay, just slow it up. Don't do it again. Police officers aren't out there looking to do paperwork. They're not driving down the road harassing people just because they want to harass them, because that comes with paperwork. And then they have to explain what they did. They don't want to do that. They want to save that for the real bad guys. So, if you lose me on this or I lose you on that, that's fine. It's just my opinion. But when you deal with a police officer, just be respectful. You don't have to be their buddy. You don't have to even like the job they do. But he's doing a job. And he pulled you over, or he's interacting with you because you drew attention to yourself. Trust me, they're not driving down the street looking to do things, looking to bust up people. They're going down the road, doing what they got to do. They've always got something they got to do. So if they pull you over, it's not because they thought you were doing something wrong. It's because you did something wrong. You were speeding or you didn't follow the traffic law. No, they don't know that you're a black guy in a car when you whip by them at 110 miles an hour. They have no idea who you are until they get to that car. So don't be a dick. And I guarantee you, if you respect them, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get in any trouble. Again, depending on what you're doing. Police departments across the country facing significant challenge in recruiting and retaining officers, leading to staff shortages. And you've got these weekend warriors who go, I don't need no cop, I take care of myself. No, you can't. You really can't. You don't know the laws. You're going to do something stupid. You're going to hurt somebody. You're going to get yourself in trouble. You're going to go to prison. Multitude of things will happen. Need police. It's really that simple. Can you name me one society that doesn't have law enforcement or some type of group of people that keep people in line or keep society safe? And I'll tell you, society that didn't last very long. Some of the reasons officers are leaving their job: low morale and job dissatisfaction. Officers report feeling unsupported by leadership. Really? You've got so many woke people in higher up positions that are more concerned about how the bad guy feels than the victim, that they punish police for doing their job. Undervalued by the community. Once again, you've got all these liberal, rich white people who, for some reason, feel guilty about being rich, that they want to blame everything else. Again, it goes back to accountability. The police are always wrong. That criminal that shot at him only did it because he's disadvantaged. And if the police officer just put his gun down and gave him a hug, this wouldn't have happened. There's a lot of people in the community that think that. And overburdened by policies. 56% of officers are considering leaving, cited low morale as a primary factor. The job is difficult. Not many people can do it. I know a lot of people on the internet tell you they can. There's always keyboard commandos, Mikey Machos, or Tony Tough guys that say, I can do what a cop does. It's not that hard. And yet they don't do it. And they've always got excuses. Well, I make more money. Oh, I'm more educated than they are. Oh, no. They can't do it, or they wouldn't be doing it. I mean, it's really that simple. If you think you can do a better job than the police, go join. They're going to be hiring. You can get on the force and show them how it's done, Wyatt Earp. It's a tough job. There's nothing easy about it. They usually encounter people, let's say 95% of the time, at the worst possible moment in that person's life. Very rarely do cops encounter people on prom night when they're having a blast. You don't call the police when you're having a good time. You call the police when something horrible is going on, or you're about to get hurt, or somebody just got hurt. That's when they deal with people. And if you don't think that after a while that doesn't weigh on the officer, that you don't think that affects them, you're crazy. Increased stress and burnout. Policing is a demanding profession, like I just said, with very long hours and exposure to very traumatic events, dead bodies, shootings, rapes, child abuse, all sorts of things. And it does contribute to high rates of PTSD, depression, and anxiety among officers, and a very high divorce rate. I mean, you can't see things and be involved with things like that and it not affect you and not affect those around you. I'm not sure how many people out there understand what it's like to have to shoot somebody. I mean, I don't. But I imagine it's not something easy. It's not something that you just do and then you go have lunch. I am almost 100% sure that is something you carry with you forever. Whether it was a justified shooting or it turns out it wasn't, that is something that will change you as a human being. So when these police officers shoot people and the whole world's, oh, you shouldn't have shot them. Number one, you weren't there. You have no idea. You're getting snippets from news outlets and from, that kid's family telling you how great he was and how wrong the police officer was. You weren't there. You weren't the one that had to make a life or death decision in like 2 seconds. And you're not the one that has to live with that the rest of your life. I don't think, and there's an exception to every rule, I don't think there are police officers out there that wake up and go, gee, I hope I get to shoot somebody and kill them today. I don't think. And if there are, that's got to be less. That's got to be 1% of 1% of 1%. I really don't think there's that many people out there with a badge that wake up wanting to do that. I think, if anything, they want to avoid that at all costs. Every video I've seen with the chest cams, you hear the cop like begging, put the gun down. Don't make me do this. Stop. Put the gun down. Stop. Drop it. Drop it. Drop it. I've never heard anybody go, oh, boom, 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 boom. I got him. Call a meat wagon. I'm going back on the road. I've never heard that. Never. And then I've seen the videos after shooting the cops on the ground, done, like just done. Like, I don't know what to do. I just shot somebody. They have no idea what to do. Shocked, just beyond shocked. So yeah, I don't put much weight into people that tell me cops are out there purposely hunting people, because if that were the case, there'd be a lot more people shot by police than there are now. Better pay and benefits elsewhere. Many officers leave for departments or private sector jobs with better pay, benefits, and working conditions. I think it's Baltimore City, that open air or the world's largest shooting range. I think they're like down like 700 officers. They're short of being fully staffed by, I think, 700 officers, and that's been for a while. I think that's been since the Freddie Gray riots, when the mayor of the city, or I can't remember if it was the mayor, but said, give them room and let them do what they want to do. Yeah. I don't know why anybody want to be a cop these days. And if you want to be a cop, power to you. Because no matter what you do, you're going to be wrong. The community's going to hate you. You're going to get sued. You probably can lose everything. And you've got everybody telling you how to do your job because they know how to do it better. So good luck. Really, and I mean that. I'm not trying to be facetious or anything. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Good luck. Now, there's this sheriff in Florida who I applaud. We as a nation, for the most part, are tired. We're over the bullcrap and stuff going on in the cities, the riots, the Antifa, all these people that think the law doesn't apply to them, that they can do what they want to do when they want to do it with no repercussions. We're tired of it. I follow the law every day. I've raised my son and my daughter to follow the law every day. You're teaching your family the same thing. So when these people, these entitled people, come out and do what they want to do and nothing happens to them because whatever area they're in allows them to do it. Like in LA, they want to make them all citizens. There's no repercussions. This sheriff is a breath of fresh air. This is just part of what he said. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we'll notify your family where to collect your remains. We will kill you graveyard dead. Nothing wrong with that. You point a gun at anybody, you're going to get shot. Foxtrot Alpha, Foxtrot Oscar. And look that up if you don't know what it means. We've become a society where we put more emphasis and concern on criminals than we do anybody else. We want to pat their butts. We want to coddle them. We want to explain away their crimes and then blame police officers for being police officers. We want to blame them for when we hire them to do what they want to do or what they have to do. And then they do it. We hold them accountable for enforcing the law. There's always some clever little thing. Well, it's systematic racism. Cops are killing minorities wholesale. None of it's true, but it sounds good. And again, it's meant to appeal to the lowest common denominator in this country, and that's the knuckle dragging mouth breather. Really. Like I just said, if cops were out there hunting people, truly out there just to kill people, there'd be bodies stacked up on street corners. There'd be shootings every 10 seconds. The news would be inundated with police shootings all the time. But that's not the case because they're not out there doing that. They're out there doing a very hard job, most of the time dealing with very unintelligent criminal people, and they're trying to remain professional. And don't get me wrong, they're not supermen. They're not better than us. They have bad days, and they may get shitty with people. They may say stupid stuff. I don't know about you, but have you seen these videos where the people roll the window down like that far and say, I don't answer questions? I don't answer questions. Would it be that hard to be civil? Because I'm sure when these people that are saying that, when they go back to their job at the bowling alley and they're spraying the disinfectant in the shoe, if someone gives them a hard time about how they spray the shoes, they'd get pissy too. But they expect everybody else, again, no accountability, to just deal with what they do like it's acceptable behavior. Again, it also comes back to upbringing. They're not taught and raised to be respectful. Just because you're respectful doesn't mean you agree with it. Just because you're respectful of a police officer does not mean you agree with what he's doing. It just means you're a better person. You're not going to start screaming and cussing and yelling. It doesn't mean what's the phrase they all say, a bootlicker. You're not a bootlicker. You're a fucking adult, acting like an adult. And you're going to handle your business where it needs to be handled. Arguing with a police officer will always end with you losing. You're going to lose. You argue in court with a judge. If you think the police officer's wrong, what you do, and I'll tell you, he pulls you over, keep your hands on the steering wheel. He's going to come up to the window, put his flashlight in your face and go, hi, I'm Trooper Joe with Maryland State Police. I pulled you over for speeding. Proper response is, okay, officer. Can I see your driver's license registration? Yes, sir. It's in my wallet, in my back pocket, or it's in the console, or it's in the glove compartment, wherever you keep your stuff. Do you mind if I reach for it? Sure, go right ahead. Get your information. You give it to the officer. He's going to say, I'll be right back. You say, thank you. You sit there, keep your mouth shut. He'll go, come back 9 times out of 10. It's been my experience. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there say, well, it's because you're white. No, it's because I kept my fucking mouth shut and didn't give him a hard time. He's going to come back and give you a warning and say, look, just slow it up. Have a good evening. If he comes back and goes, here's your ticket. You were doing 70 and a 55. It's I don't even know, like $200 fine or something like 3 points. Or you can go to court and fight your ticket. I need you to sign down here. This is not an admission of guilt. It's just saying you received a ticket and you're going to do one of the two things. Don't show your ass. Don't start going, well, you need to explain it, or just sign the goddamn ticket. Because everything you say, they're going to tell the judge. And if you don't think the judge takes that into consideration when he's listening to you whine and cry about how mean the cop was to you, you're crazy. Just sign the ticket, go about your way, and if you think it was wrong, when you get in front of the judge, that's where you plead your case. That's where you explain yourself. Well, Your Honor, I think this was wrong. The officer was doing X, Y, and Z. He was very unprofessional to me. He yelled and cursed at me. He hurt my feelings. He didn't treat me like the special little flower that I am, and I don't think I deserve the ticket, or whatever your argument is. The courtroom is where you do it, not on the street. And if you're not teaching your kids that, you're an idiot. You are an idiot. And when that happens and the cop yanks your kid out of the car and they get into a fight and unfortunately the cop has to shoot your son or daughter because they're reaching in their pocket or they're going for something and the cop doesn't know why, it's your fault. Because you didn't raise your kid just to be quiet. That is not the time to fight. Wait till you get to court. Again, respecting a police officer does not mean you like what they're doing. Doesn't mean you agree with what they're doing. It doesn't mean anything other than that you're a decent human being. And you're not going to argue with them. That's all it means. And you've got these idiots on Facebook and YouTube that are fighting these fights. And the cop's like, dude, I'm just trying to write you a ticket. That's it. You're not going to jail. We're not going to execute you on the side of the road. We're not taking your car. You were speeding or your registration's dead or your tags are dead or whatever. Just sign the goddamn ticket so I can leave. And you can go about your business. We can argue about this in court. But no, everybody's a lawyer now. Everybody's graduated from Google Law. They all know more than everybody else. And they're going to argue with you till they're blue in the face. And at the end of the day, you're still going to get the ticket. Or you're still going to get arrested. And then on top of that, when you get to court, now you got to explain to the judge why you're acting like such a little asshole. What were you trying to prove by screaming and swearing and arguing with the police officer? What were you hoping the outcome was going to be? That he's going to go, oh, wow, I don't know what to say. You can go. Just be quiet. There's nothing wrong with being respectful. You respect doctors. You respect people who bring you your food. You respect plumbers, electricians, and mechanics. You respect everybody. Respect the cop. He's just doing his job. And like I said, 9 times out of 10, that interaction was caused by something you did. Because trust me, they're not sitting there waiting for you to mess up so they can come get you. You've done something more often than not. And I'm not saying it's all the time. I'm saying there's exceptions to the rule. More often than not, you have done something that caught the officer's attention and he's responding to what you've done. So don't argue with them. I mean, what are you trying to accomplish when you call it? I mean, I've seen videos where people are calling cops pigs, fucking idiots, stupid pieces. I mean, screaming at these cops. And then as soon as the cop goes, shut up. Oh, you violated company policy. I'm going to sue you. They're trying. What it is those people trying to hit what I like to call the ghetto lottery. They're pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. Insulting. Hoping for a reaction that they can sue for and win some money. Knowing if that was reversed and someone was doing it to them, they would react the same exact way that person they're doing it to eventually does. But it's not okay if it's done to them. It's unacceptable. And again, they assume no accountability for what they're doing because they're cops. They're robots. They should have no emotions and shouldn't react. And I'm not saying that every cop behind the badge should be a cop. I'm not saying that. And you can ask any cop in the world, they'll probably tell you the same thing. Not everybody who's a police officer should be a police officer. But that doesn't give these morons and anybody a right to scream and cuss and insult and berate an officer trying to do their job. And again, if they're wrong, there are avenues you can take. But that avenue is not there on the street because you are going to be wrong and you are going to lose. Don't argue with the police. That's just stupid. Would you argue with your boss if he did something you didn't like? No, because he'd fire you. It's just called common sense. It's called common sense and respect, and that will go miles. Trust me, it will go further than you think. And then if you don't like what the cop has done or said, go to court and fight it. Really. I mean, we used to live in a country where people respected other people. Again, doesn't mean you agree with them or like them. You just respected what they were doing. Hey, you got a job to do. I can understand that. Fine. Do what you got to do. Give me the ticket or charge me what you got to charge me for the car work or whatever it was. We didn't whine and cry and scream and point fingers and blame everybody else. We assumed the responsibility. We assumed that accountability for something that happened. And we went on about our life and took care of it later. It just seems now everybody's got this grand sense of entitlement where they think their opinion is the most important thing in the world. And if you don't listen to it, you're wrong. It's not how life works. It's not how the real world works. It's all about give and take in the real world. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong, sometimes you meet in the middle. No one is always right and no one is always wrong. And if you approach every interaction like that with anybody you meet, your life's going to be a lot more pleasant. When you realize, like I said earlier, you're not always going to be right. Someone's going to know more than you. And you're not always going to be wrong. It is what it is. And you have to accept it and be able to move on. And maybe that comes with age. Oh, not maybe. That comes with age. So if you're out there and you're 20, you're like, oh, Seth's full of shit. When I was your age, I was dumb as hell too. And I thought I knew everything. I thought I was always right and I was going to change the world. And but as you get older, you realize, you know what? I'm not always right. Yeah, you know what? I did screw up there. Yeah. And that doesn't make me a bad person. That just makes me a human being. We all make mistakes. And sometimes we get caught for them and sometimes we don't. And nobody likes to get caught making a mistake. Nobody likes to be caught and told, hey, you did wrong. We're going to hold you accountable. Nobody likes it. And no matter what age you get to, that's still aggravating. It's still annoying. But you know, it's part of life. We do it to our children. When they screw up, we hold them accountable. And there's punishment. So why do we think when we get older, there should be no accountability or punishment for us just because we're older? Again, that's not how the real world works. Just be a decent human being. That's all you got to do. And it's going to make your life much, much easier.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
So yeah, like I was saying before, you have Alexandra Levine. She's got her shows. Then you have Damon the Hammer, who's got his shows. And I call him that because he's from South Jersey, or he's from Jersey in general. And I equate Jersey to the Sopranos. And the Sopranos are, I just bust his chops. He's a good guy. They're both good people, really smart. They know what they're talking about. They know what they're doing. They have very, very in-depth shows. They're very intelligent. And you should watch them if you're not watching them. And of course, then there's me. I'm like the bottom of the barrel. They're like, oh my God, he's got a show. What's he going to say? Oh, we're going to be careful about that. He could just blow up. And I do. I blow up. But hey, that's just who I am. And that's who I'm going to be. Oh, I also want to say I'm wearing a shirt. I don't know if you can see that. It says Borns for D5. He's running for office where I live, District 5, obviously. So if you live in the Frederick County area, Chase Bourne, listen to him. He's got some stuff on Facebook. Good guy. And I know what everyone's going to say. Well, why are you wearing his shirt? Well, because he gave me one. If you want me to wear your shirt, give me one, and I'll wear it. It's really that simple. I mean, I don't know why people make things so complicated. Oh, he's showing favoritism. No, I like the shirt, and he gave me one, so I'm wearing it. I got to wear a shirt. Can't sit on here shirtless. You want me to wear a shirt of yours? Send me your shirt. I'll wear it. It's really that simple. I don't know why everything is such a chore, so ridiculous now. But yeah, so there again, born from District 5. That's in Frederick County, Maryland, where I live. I don't know if anybody on this who watches this is in Frederick County, but if you are, give him a listen. Smart kid. I know him. I know his brother. I believe his father's a police officer, so you know there's some discipline and some respect there. So yeah, check him out on Facebook. He's a good guy, and I think I'll have him on the show one day, and we can talk to him. And that's if he wants to come on the show. I wouldn't blame him if he didn't want to. I mean, this is, like I said, this is dicey. This could make you or break you. It just depends on who sees it. But yeah, so check out all our shows. On Wednesday night, we got the Pulse. That's a good, like I said, that's a fun show. It's all of us, and we just talk about different things and let it fly. That's the only night I don't prepare anything. Like here, I've got notes on my iPad. I've got notes on my smartphone. I've got some notes next to me. So I'm kind of prepared to know what I want to say and what I want to go over. Wednesday night, I just let it all fly out. So sometimes you'll see me talking and I'll go, because I'm shocked at what I said too. I had no idea that was going to come out. So if nothing else, watch it for the what the hell factor. But yeah, it's a good time. Check it out. So let me want to talk about what I talked about earlier. Iran finally getting what they deserve. Let's be real. What happened to Iran last night should have happened years ago. When I think it was Obama, maybe. I mean, that goddamn genius who went into the nuclear agreement with them, like they couldn't do certain things, had to let people come in and inspect, blah, 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 blah. And then we find out they've enriched uranium to 60%, which they weren't allowed to do. They weren't letting the inspectors go in, or they're only showing them certain things, won't let them see everything. And of course, Obama and his mangina did nothing about it. And then you had Biden who sent them or Obama sent them money. Biden unfroze their money. Again, that's what happens when you have spineless leaders that are more concerned about looking like they're good guys rather than being the guys that do the right thing. So this should have been handled years ago. Like I said, back in the 40s, I believe Iran was a very modern country, very inviting, very fair and open, and let anybody, any religion be practiced, any political affiliation be practiced. Then you had the Ayatollah show up and changed everything. And it's been downhill since then. Their human rights violations are a mile long, and they are ongoing. They have never stopped. And if you're out there defending them, an oppressive religious regime, and not applauding the fact that that they don't have nuclear weapons now, you are the problem. You are the problem with this world. And you should just stay in your home and stay away from society because you might further infect other people. I don't care if it was Iran. I don't care if it was China. I don't care if it was North Korea. I don't care if it was some dictatorship in Africa. Wrong is wrong. End of subject. If you're wrong, you're wrong. Iran having nuclear weapons would have been wrong. Not only would it have been wrong, it would have been dangerous to the rest of the world. Now, let me put a caveat with this. I am not a Middle East expert. I'm not like these idiots on Facebook that go from being a tariff expert to a Middle Eastern expert to a Iranian expert. I'm not. I read, I listen, and I watch some things, and then I form an opinion. Like I've said before, I'm not here to change your mind or convince you of anything. I'm sharing my opinion with you. And this is my opinion on Iran. They are a dangerous country that at no time should have anything to do with nuclear capability at all, ever, period, hard stop, end of story. Nothing good could come with them having a nuclear weapon. And I'm not just talking about their threats against killing all the Jews and wiping Israel off the map. I'm talking about just their ability, if they had a nuclear weapon, to hang that over everybody's head in the Middle East and control things. And not just the Middle East, the world around. Them with a nuclear weapon is dangerous. China has a nuclear weapon, and I'm not really worried about them. There are 9 countries that produce, I have this in my notes, 9 countries that now possess nuclear weapons are number 1, United States, Russia, China, France, United Kingdom, India, Pakistan, Israel, and North Korea. Which of those countries frightens you having a nuclear weapon? Which of those countries has continually supported terrorism around the globe? Which of those countries executes people for not following their religion? Or kills rape victims? Or kills homosexuals? Or doesn't allow any other religion in their country and has said they want to make the world Islamic? Which of those countries frightens you the most that has a nuclear weapon? I can read that list and not be frightened. Concerned, but not frightened. Because I don't think any of these countries that have the nuclear weapons on that list would ever use it first. I believe they may use it in response to or threaten another country that's threatened them. I don't think, let's say, United Kingdom would ever wake up one morning and decide, hey, we want to get rid of England, so we're going to nuke them now. I don't think that would ever happen. I don't think Israel would ever wake up and go, look, I don't like Spain. So let's go ahead and put in our constitution, we're going to kill all the Spaniards, and then we're going to nuke Spain. That would never happen. So I'm concerned that anybody has nuclear weapons at this point, but I'm not frightened. Iran would frighten me. If they're willing to torture and kill their own people, what do you think they're willing to do to us? Infidels. They've already made it very clear that they want to wipe Israel off the map. They've already made that very clear. They want to kill all the Jews. So why would he want them, even if that was the only thing they've ever threatened, forget them chanting death to America. Forget all the terrorism they support. If it's in their constitution to kill all the Jews and erase Israel off the map, why would we want them to have a nuclear weapon? What do you think they would do if they had a nuclear weapon? I mean, really? You think they're going to use it for nice things? This is a picture of Iran, Tehran. And this is a couple of days ago with Israel striking Iran. And again, if you're against Israel attacking Iran and think Iran is just a wonderful country. Number one, let me know. I will pay for you to move there. Number two, I will call you an idiot as you're boarding the plane. And number three, I will let your parents know you died because you were stupid. It's a horrible country. I'm not talking about the people. I'm talking about the regime. It's a horrible country to live in. I can't imagine living there. I mean, ask yourself this: how many Catholic churches are in Iran? How many Christian churches are in Iran? How many Buddhist temples? How many synagogues? How many whatever are in Iran right now? I can tell you now there's zero. Because if you try to do that, they kill you. That's how welcoming and inviting they are. So all these liberals that are defending Iran really are just scum of the earth. And I think they're doing it just to be contrary. I don't think they really feel that way. I think they're doing it because Trump doesn't like them, so I need to like him. Trump is attacking them, so I need to attack him. Conservatives don't like it, so I need to like it. That's what I firmly believe. I don't think they truly believe what they say. They're doing it because in spite of. That's what I think. And I could be wrong. And then, you're on Facebook, and I'm telling you right now, I'm getting off Facebook because the stupidity factor on Facebook has just exponentially gotten worse. And every day I go on there and I read something, I'm like, why am I here? I'm losing IQ points just reading most of these posts. So I'm really going to start limiting my time on Facebook. And on top of that, it's a joke. You can post things about killing people, and it's not against community standards. But if I post something like anti-COVID or anti-Biden, they give you a 30-day suspension. It's a joke. It's a joke. And they've already said that they were working with the government during COVID to censor stuff. Why would you stay on there? I mean, it's free, but why would you give it any time? I don't know. But anyway, you go on Facebook and you got all these people from, I don't know, they can't be from Iran because Iran can't have the internet. So it's morons in this country or other countries. Oh, Iran is whipping Israel's ass. Everyone in Israel's afraid. Well, I just wanted to show this. I thought it was kind of funny. This is Tehran. Everybody's trying to get out. And this was before the Americans attacked them, before we dropped some loving on them. Even the people in Iran know it's time to go. They know it's time to get out of there. And I do feel sorry for the citizens in Iran. I mean, they have no choice in their officials. They're not elected. They're appointed or selected. And I understand that. And it's horrible. And I wish that they could do something. And they can. The French did it. Other countries have done it. They can do it. They've got to stand up. They've got to say enough's enough. You know what? We all may be Muslim or whatever, but that doesn't give us the right to force that on other people in other countries. We shouldn't be trying to eliminate other countries simply because they don't agree with us. I shouldn't have to wear 5,000 pounds of clothing because I'm a woman and I can't show my face. I should be able to wear shorts and a t-shirt if I want to, if it's hot. I should be able to worship whatever God I want to worship. I should be able to freely do what I want to do as long as I'm not affecting anybody else. So this shit's got to stop. We're living in the dark ages here, and it's just not working anymore. So like I said, Elon Musk has connected Starlink to them so they can get the internet now. I hope they're seeing that the rest of the world isn't as bad as they've been told. Are we perfect? No, we're not perfect. We do some stupid stuff from time to time. We're overindulgent, and maybe we don't always practice what we preach. But at the base, we're good. We're good. We're not trying to hurt other people. We're not threatening to blow countries up because they don't agree with us, because their religion is different from us or they worship a different God. We live and let live around the world for the most part. So come join the party. You'll have some fun, and you'll be able to express yourself and not have to worry about the secret police that they have, not ICE, but actual police that will come take you from your home and kill you or torture you in Iran. So I hope those people finally stand up and say enough's enough and revolt. I really do. And again, that'll be horrible too because it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be violent. It's going to be horrible. But sometimes it's got to happen. Nuclear weapons are not just another tool of war. They are weapons of mass destruction, capable of killing millions in seconds, collapsing entire cities, excuse me, and poisoning the land for generations. Keep that in mind when people say Iran shouldn't have a nuclear weapon. Nuclear weapons, again, are not a tool of war. It's how you end the war. It's how you end the country. Those countries I listed are either part of international treaties, they have deterrence doctrines, or subject to global monitoring. Even North Korea, despite its recklessness, has been pressured by the world to calm down. Why is a nuclear Iran more dangerous than all those other nations I mentioned? They openly threaten to wipe out another country, death to Israel and death to America. They chant for destruction of America, death to the USA. Fund and arm terrorist groups, including Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis. I've already told you that. They're the biggest financier, one of the biggest financiers of terrorism around the globe. Violate inspection agreements all the time. All the time. Lie about its nuclear progress while continuing to enrich plutonium or uranium to weapon grade. Operate under elected religious dictatorship with no accountability. They're not building nukes for defense. They're building them to dominate, intimidate, and strike first against anybody they deem a threat. And by that, I mean anybody who's not Muslim, that doesn't live under Islam or Sharia law. That is why we can't let them have a nuclear weapon. That is why Trump did the best thing. That is why this should have happened years ago. It shouldn't have got to this point. This should have been done years ago. But again, it's weak leadership. That's why we've gotten to where we've gotten to. I can't believe we got to explain this. And it's not about double standards. Other countries have nuclear weapons. Yes, we've just kind of covered that. But no other nuclear-capable country is actively targeting civilians through terrorist proxies, publicly calling for genocide, and disabling multiple regions at once. It isn't about who deserves a nuke. This is not about deserve. It's about who can be trusted and who can't be trusted with them. And right now, Iran, unlike Israel, the U.S., France, or even India, can't be trusted at all. We can't. And if you think you can trust them, you're an idiot. If we don't do what we did now, and they continue to enrich their uranium, it's going to get to a point where something bad is going to happen. Like I said before, I am convinced they would use nuclear weapons on Israel. I am 100% sure of that. And that would start World War III. Stopping Iran's nuclear program isn't an act of war. It's defending peace before it's too late. It's that simple. We had to act now, because if we didn't, it would be too late down the road. And then you have people who are complaining, well, Trump doesn't have the congressional power to do this. And if that's what you think, you obviously should get your money back from your Google constitutional law class because you didn't pay attention. There's something called the War Powers Act. And what that means simply is, number one, the president must notify Congress within 48 hours of deploying troops into any situation where hostilities are imminent or have already begun, and he did. Military action initiated without a declaration of war or specific congressional authorization can only last for a maximum of 60 days, with an additional 30 days allowed for safe withdrawal. So he's already withdrawn, so that part's covered. And Congress can pass a resolution to end military involvement at any time. They don't have to because we're done. We've pulled out. He didn't act outside of the Constitution. He followed the Constitution. He followed the War Powers Act. And nobody wants to hear that because most of these people have never had a president that actually did anything. Biden was too mentally checked out to do anything. Obama was too busy making sure the country was divided to do anything of any significance. So for the last, he was twice, so 12 years? For 12 years, we had presidents that didn't do anything. Trump came in, tried to do something, and they've screwed him, and Biden got elected, and then we went back to it. So this is the first time for a lot of people to have a president that actually stands up and says, hey, enough's enough. America first. We're not putting up with this anymore. You're going to have to adjust your way of thought and how you're doing things. So that's why a lot of people are bucking it. because they want to go back to the let's just get along with everybody and not stand up for what's right, because that's hard to do. It requires backbone to stand up and do what's right. And Biden and Obama weren't about that. They were about getting along to get by. They didn't care what went on. That's, again, I'm not trying to change your mind on anything. I know what you mean. Well, it's almost that time. And if you've watched my show at all, you know, at the end, I like to share my opinion on a topic. And again, it's my opinion. It doesn't reflect the network. It doesn't reflect any of the other podcasters. It reflects me and what I think. And again, you can choose to ignore it, or you could go, hey, that's great. I agree with you, Seth. So here's my opinion for tonight. The narrative painting Iran as a victim in global affairs is a grotesque distortion, peddled by apologists who cherry-pick facts to prop up a regime that thrives on oppression and aggression. This isn't a misunderstood underdog. It's a theocratic machine with a 46-year rap sheet of human rights abuses, regional destabilization, and unabashed hostility towards free societies. To call Iran a victim is to spit in the face of its own citizens and the millions across the Middle East who suffer under its shadow. Start with the regime's domestic record. Since the 1979 Islamic Revolution, Iran's government has crushed dissidents with an iron fist. Political prisoners are tortured and even in prison. Women are jailed for showing their hair, and LGBTQ individuals face execution. The 2020 Masai Amani protest saw over 500 killed and 20,000 arrested for demanding basic freedoms. This is not a government victimized by external forces. It's a predator devouring its own people. Claiming otherwise ignores the blood on Tehran streets. Then there's Iran's role as a regional arsonist. Throughout its Islamic Revolutionary Guard, Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, and proxies like Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis, Iran fuels chaos from Lebanon to Yemen. It bankrolls terrorism, supplies weapons to militias, and orchestrates attacks on civilian targets. In 2019, Abaku drone strike on Saudi. The 2019 Abaku drone strikes on the Saudi oil facilities has Iran's fingerprints all over it. The 2024 Hamas assault on Israel, fueled by Iranian cash and rockets. Syria's civil war, Iran propped up Assad's slaughterhouse. This isn't a victim defending itself. It's a bully throwing punches and crying foul once it gets hit back. The Iran as victim crowd loves to scream about sanctions and the U.S. imperialism, conveniently ignoring why sanctions exist. Iran's nuclear program, pursued in defiance of the international agreements, threatens global security. The IAEA reported in 2024 that Iran's enriched uranium stockpiles is 30 times the limit set by the 2015 JCPOA deal. Tehran's own officials have bragged about being steps from a bomb. Sanctions aren't punishment for Iran's innocence. They're a response to its reckless ambition. Blaming the West while Iran races towards nuclear breakout is like blaming a firefighter for dousing a blaze. And let's not kid ourselves about Iran's geopolitical posturing. Its alliance with Russia and China isn't the cry of a cornered nation. It's a calculated middle finger to the democracies. Iran supplies drones to Russia for Ukraine's slaughter, inks armed deals with Beijing, and laughs off Western pleas for restraint. This is a regime playing great power games, not a helpless pawn. The victim narrative also dodges Iran's ideological core, a Masonic obsession with exporting its revolution. The regime's constitution calls for global Islamic dominance, and its actions follow suit. It's not defining its borders, it's waging a crusade. To frame Iran as a victim is to misread its playbook and whitewash its intent. Those pushing this line, whether naive activists or cynical propagandists do a disservice to truth and justice. They amplify a regime that silences its people, sponsors terror, and flirts with nuclear catastrophe. Iran's victims aren't in Tehran's palaces. They're in its jails, in Syrian rubble, and in Israeli bomb shelters. Calling Iran the injured party isn't just wrong, it's complicity in its crimes. The world deserves better than this moral sleight of hand. Again, that's just my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to like it. It's just how I feel. Well, it's that time. I had fun. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned a little something or changed your, you're looking at things a little differently. Again, I'm not here to change your opinion or make you see things my way. Just here to talk. So I will be back Wednesday at 8 on the Pulse. That's going to be on the America's Pulse Network. You can see us there. Again, thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. I truly am humbled that you would take time out of your day to sit with me for an hour and a half and listen to me vent. And remember, as long as you are living by principle and not based on a party, you're going to live a good life and people are going to respect you. All right, everybody have a good evening, and I will see you Wednesday.